once again to this another Friday of this online Spurti camp, which we all are going through. And I again thank Chirag and all the organizers for hosting these online meetings, these virtual sessions, which is how we are getting in touch with each other. And I'm very, very happy and honored and privileged to speak some words of wisdom to all of you, to share some things which I have received from my seniors. So as Chirag said, today's session is another exciting and enlightening session. It is called Break Free of Bonds. There are 3 C's, which have actually tied us, which have bonded us. They are conditions, conditionings, and cutthroat competition. So let us see some details about it. But first, I would like to build upon that, why we are talking about it, right? So if you remember, the very first session which we had was, why do we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We began with who should be the object of our worship, who is the supreme person who is worthy of our worship. Then the next session was, okay, we understood about Krishna, he is the supreme person, but what about Shivji, Ganeshji, Durgaji, Saraswati, Hanumanji, and all these various Devi Devata, various demigods, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, and all these. So at length we saw in that session that, okay, they are various gods with a small g, they are various demigods, and they are all servants of Krishna, right? So just to clarify certain misconceptions. Then the third session, and of course that may have gone through over 2 sessions. I'm just talking in terms of the topics, right? The third topic which we covered was rekindling wisdom. The focus of that topic was, what is that topmost knowledge which Lord Krishna has given to Arjun in Bhagavad Gita? What is the essence of knowledge? What is the topmost instruction? And how we can live a life which is not a life of ignorance, but a life of knowledge. And then in our last topic, which we finished last Friday, the second session we finished last Friday was reviving love, wherein we talked about that how knowledge has to culminate in action, and the action which we are talking about is actually rendering loving devotional service to Krishna. In the last session, we talked about how we have been trying to look for our love for Krishna, our lost love, in various places, in various things, and various objects and various people, but that is not going to satisfy us. And only when we actually love and serve Krishna, which actually includes loving and serving everybody else as well, but loving and serving everybody else and not serving Krishna is like Operation Successful, patient died, right? And loving and serving Krishna is automatically going to include loving and serving everybody else, because Krishna is like root of the tree, and when we water the root of the tree, everybody gets nourishment, right? So we saw all these things, and now we have understood it, yes, in a more scientific way, in a more logical way, in a more systematic way. Now we have understood that how and why we need to practice Krishna consciousness. And the most important practice or most important activity of Krishna consciousness is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And of course, that is one aspect. The other aspect is we attend sessions like these, we hear so that our wisdom increases, and then we apply that wisdom into practice, right? So now that we have understood that, okay, how and why we should practice Krishna consciousness, there is a natural question which comes in our mind. Sometimes, in spite of having understood very, very clearly that, okay, this is the goal of life, and this is what we are supposed to do, yet sometimes we don't get enough determination to be able to practice Krishna consciousness nicely, right? And then we see how Krishna helps us in that regard as well. So please understand the introduction which I'm trying to set. I'm saying that we have understood the importance of Krishna consciousness. We have understood that how, unless we practice Krishna consciousness, we will be missing the most important point of this human form of life. Yet, many a times, because of certain the way the world is, because of we are busy with so many things in our life, sometimes we do not get enough determination to practice Krishna consciousness. And now in this session, we are going to see how Krishna again helps us, in some ways by which we can actually develop the determination to practice Krishna consciousness, and what can be our real motivation to practice Krishna consciousness, right? With that introduction, I want to begin this session. So forget spirituality in general, right? What do people want? People want unlimited, uninterrupted enjoyment, right? Like in the last session, we talked about uninterrupted service to Krishna, right? But think from a perspective of a common man, or think from a perspective of you and me. To the extent we are not pure devotees, to that extent we are very much people of this world, correct? So if you see from that perspective, ultimately what is it that we want? We want unlimited, uninterrupted enjoyment, correct? But can we get unlimited, uninterrupted enjoyment in this world? We have already seen in several sessions in the past that actually that is not possible in this world, right? And that is how Krishna is actually helping us to understand that something is wrong. We need to rectify the fundamental problem. Just like we have seen how if you take the fish out of water, then no matter how hard the fish may try, fish will never become happy, right? Because there is something fundamentally wrong. What is the fundamentally wrong thing? That the fish is out of water. Fish needs to go back to water. Similarly, Krishna, out of his love for us, has designed this world in certain way so that we can be cured of our disease, we can be rectified of our problem, right? And therefore, in this world, he has put these three C's, which can time and again help to remind us that something is fundamentally wrong. I am doing something wrong. I need to do something else, right? What are these three C's? Conditions. So because of our body. So as we all know, we are not this body. We are soul, but we have been currently entrapped in this particular body, and because we have this body, certain limitations and certain restrictions are imposed on us, right? We'll see those in details. Like for example, while speaking right now, if I get nature's call, if I get some pressure in my stomach, I'll have to excuse myself and I'll have to go. Had I have, if I were not in this material body ka situation, if I were in spiritual world, if I were in my original spiritual body, that would not have happened, right? So this body imposes certain conditions on us. It imposes certain limitations on us. It imposes certain restrictions on us, which comes as an obstacle to our unlimited, uninterrupted enjoyment. Similarly, so that is about body. Now similarly, we have mind, right? Now our mind also imposes certain things on us, right? For example, our particular temperament, right? Or our these our conditionings, our tendency to think, right? Sometimes, like, how a businessman, wherever he sees money. Why? Because that is his vision. He is seeing everything from that perspective. That is what conditionings do to us. They either help us or they limit our way of functioning in this world. They impose again certain restrictions, but those restrictions are at the level of mind. That's what is called as conditionings. In this session, we are going to see each one of these in more details. I'm just giving a background right now, an introduction. And the third C, is imposed on us by our environment, right? You may want to do so many things, but then there are so many people to pull you down, right? Just like that story of crabs. You can, when you have to, let's say, keep 10 or 12 crabs in a jar. It is a very famous thing that you don't need to cover the jar with a lid, right? You can just keep 10, 12 crabs in a glass jar, and you will not be required to cover the jar with the lid. The reason is because when the crabs will try to go out, all the other crabs will pull that crab down, right? So as soon as one crab is trying to go out, he is trying to crawl out of the jar, all the other 11 crabs will pull him down. So automatically they'll all will always be in the jar, so you'll not be required to put the lid on the jar. So that's like unhealthy competition. And many times we see all around us, not only that, but so many other kinds of competition which we have to go through. It's a struggle for material existence. Living in this world is not easy. Like people say, survival of the fittest, right? So we will see all of that. So environment poses those challenges on us. It makes our life, it does not make our life easy. It makes our life all the more difficult and strugglesome, right? So now, because of these, so now this is the way this world is, right? And now when we go through these things, we realize that, oh, no, 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 looks like something is wrong. There's a pinprick somewhere, right? And that can be compared to, the analogy can be like that of a pain in body, right? For example, if I ask you, when we get some kind of pain in body, I think we have discussed this in one of the previous sessions as well, that, when we have some pain in body, will you call that pain good or bad? In one sense, it is bad because it is a displeasing situation. We are not at ease. It is a little uncomfortable situation. But in one sense, it is good as well. Why it is good? Because if pain were not there, we would not have done the needful to remedy the situation, to rectify the situation, right? Imagine, like, I don't know if I have given this example in this audience or not, but imagine if I'm sleeping at night, right? And somebody comes and, he takes a saw, and with that saw, he's trying to cut my hand. Huh? And if pain is not there, if the concept of pain was not designed, he will come, he will cut my hand, and he'll go away. And in the morning, when I'm trying to brush my teeth, I'll try to lift my hand, but nothing will be lifted, right? So I'll be bereft of my beloved hand. On the other hand, that's not a reality. What will actually happen is, when somebody is trying to cut my hand, I will feel pain. And as soon as I will feel pain, I'll wake up, I'll realize something is wrong, and I'll try to, hit that person or try to protect myself, right? So in that sense, pain is good because it is indicative of some problem which needs to be addressed. If there was no pain, like there is this disease, it's a very complex name. I forgot what is the name of this disease. In children, sometimes there is this disease wherein they don't feel pain. And it is considered to be one of the most dangerous diseases, because if a child does not feel pain, imagine what he will do. He'll go and jump off the window. He'll put his hand in, he'll put his finger in fire, and his finger will be burnt. right? Because he is not feeling pain. It's a disease to not feel pain, right? So just like pain is good, similarly, Krishna has designed this world in a particular way with these three C's as pain, so that we can understand that something is wrong somewhere and we can do something about it. And that is why Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 shloka 15, he says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. Krishna says, Mam upetya punarjanma. Mam upetya. After you achieve me, punarjanma, you don't have to, take birth again. Where? In dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Lord Krishna is calling this world, I have made this world, you have not made this world. Shashvatam means what? Dukhalayam means Dukh Alay. Just like Him Alay means place of snow, Himalaya. Vidya Alay means place of education, school. Uh, uh, Pustak Alay means place of books. Like similarly, Dukh Alay means place of Dukh. So this world is place of Dukh, right? And not only that, not only it is a place of Dukh, it is Ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means it is temporary. It is temporary, right? Now imagine if you have to go in a Mumbai local train. I mean, though you all are not from Mumbai, but I'm sure you would have heard of the local trains of Mumbai. They are very, very famous, or rather, should I say infamous, right? They are infamous because they're so crowded, right? But still so many people, for them it is the primary means of transport. Even rich people, it's their primary means of transport. Why? Because at least that is making you reach the destination very fast, and yet they are ready to tolerate the temporary inconvenience because they know it is temporary, right? They know that, okay, I will board the local train, and maybe for half an hour or 1 hour I'll have some inconvenience, there is so much crowd, but at least I'll reach my destination, right? So they know it is temporary. So similarly, this material world is temporary, and when we understand it is temporary, it gives us a lot of relief. It gives us a lot of relief. Why? Because, oh, okay, so I understand this is not my home. Home is somewhere else, right? But then I cannot stop here. I need to do the needful so that I can actually go back to my original home, right? So both is needed. One, to understand that this material world is temporary, and second, to do the needful so that we can go from this temporary world to the permanent world. That is the call of action of Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Mam upete punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. Those who actually return to me. So if you read the translation here, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Samsiddhim paramam gataha, the highest perfection, right? And in that sense, this material world has been compared to a jail. But let me just talk about what others think of this world to be. There are some people who think that this world is like a hotel, right? Hotel or a restaurant. Now, when you go to a hotel or a restaurant or a food joint, right? These days malls are closed, but if typically third floor or fourth floor of the mall is like a food court, right? Now, why do people go there? People go there to enjoy, right? Just like why we have come to this world. We have come to this world to enjoy, right? At the very first place. That's what impelled us to come to this world. That's what impelled us to go away from Krishna, to turn away from Krishna. So therefore, our outlook, our default outlook towards world is what? That it's a hotel. We have come here to enjoy. It's a restaurant. Now, okay, sit on the chair, sit on the table. I mean, not on the table, sit on the chair and sit at the table. And then, take out the menu card and you order things one by one, and the waiter will come and he will serve you things, right? So that is our default outlook towards this world, because that is the reason why, because of which we came here, right? However, as we know, when we read Shastras, we understand that, oh, this world is not like a hotel. In fact, there are so many problems in this world. In fact, if I count, the number of ways I can become happy is 5, and the number of ways I can become miserable is 500, right? Just take an example of this body. What are the various ways in which this body can give enjoyment? Hardly one or two. Maybe you can eat something delicious, right? That's it. Hardly there are one or two ways in which this body can give enjoyment. However, there are infinite ways this body can actually make our life miserable. Something may happen in the heart, something may happen in the lung, something may happen in the eye, something may happen in the eyelid, something may happen in the hair, something may happen in the head, something may happen in the ear, something may happen in the nose, right from the tip of the hair to the bottom of the feet, to the toe. There is a doctor for every part of the body. There is a medical science which is going to study in details about each and every part of the body, because each and every part of the body is a source of misery. It can be a potential source of misery. On the other hand, how many ways you can enjoy from this body? Maybe one or two, that's it, right? So if you compare, if you weigh on a beam balance sources of misery and sources of happiness, even though that is a temporary happiness or illusory happiness, for the time being, I'm saying, okay, chalo, whatever happiness it is. Like in the previous session, if you remember, we have discussed that how this happiness of the world is temporary and illusory, right? Okay, let us give points to those people who are saying, no, kuch bhi hone, temporary रहने दो, मेरे को चाहिए, illusory रहने दो, मेरे को चाहिए, कुछ तो ऐसा. But even that happiness, if you put on a beam balance, if you put on a taraju, that happiness is like little bit, and that sufferings or misery is like, a lot. So, it's not Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. It's like Kabhi Khushi Aksar Gum. It's like that. That should be the name of the movie, right? So our this default understanding that the world is like a hotel is actually wrong, and we understand from Shastras that actually this world is like a hospital or like a jail. The Shastras give both analogies. Like in this case, we saw the analogy of Dukhalayam Shashvatam. It is a place of misery, right? We have been sent here. Now tell me one thing. Why does government build jails? Why does government build jails? Government builds jail. The primary reason is not to punish the criminals. The primary reason is reformation, right? The purpose of sending somebody to jail is that he understands his mistake, he rectifies his mistake, and he comes out as again like a law-abiding citizen. And then he can move around in the city freely, right? That's the purpose of the jail. This world is like a jail, and Durgaji is the superintendent of this jail, right? And the reason we are in this jail is so that we can rectify our mistake. We can rectify our desire to enjoy like Krishna. We can replace the desire to enjoy like Krishna with enjoy with Krishna, right? And then we will be out of this jail, as simple as that. And why this world is like a hospital? Yeah, because we are patient, we have a disease, and we need to get cured. So therefore, this world is like a hospital. We have been sent here so that we can be cured of our disease, right? So in that sense, if you see these characteristics of this world, these 3 C's which we are talking about, is like that pain which is there in the body, so that we can understand that something is fundamentally wrong somewhere, and we can address that, and we can perfect our life. Now let us begin with the first C, conditions, right? So this was the introduction of this session, right? So that we understand that why we are discussing this topic, right? And where does it fit in our journey of Krishna conditionings and competition. Now let us talk about the first C, which is conditions. What did I say? That because of this body which we are in currently, this is not our permanent situation. Jesus Christ says we are in this world, we are not of this world. And to be in this world, we have to get a dress. Just like when you go to jail, your actual dress is taken away and you are given a jail dress of a कैदी, dress of a prisoner. हाँ, एक कैदी का ड्रेस आपको दिया जाता है, वो लाइन वाला, हिंदी पिक्चर में देखा है मैंने, असली में मालूम नहीं क्या होता है, but whatever it is, right? So just like to go to a jail, you need a particular kind of dress. Just like to go to America, you need to wear cold dress because it's a cold country. Similarly, to come to this world of matter, you need a body of matter. So we have been given this body, material body. Material body means what? Body of matter. We have been given this body of matter because we have to live in this world of matter. But we are not matter. We are spirit. And therefore, we are uncomfortable in this body. Though each one of us are feeling very comfortable in this body, but then when we see these conditions, we realize that no, actually it is an uncomfortable situation. It is an illusion that we are thinking ourselves to be comfortable in this body. Just like एक बार एक दारू पीने वाला पियक्कर था, drunkard. There was a drunkard, and this drunkard, he drank so much that he fell on the ground. And that time it was a rainy season, just like now it is soon approaching. And rainy season में आपको मालूम है इंडिया के रोड में ऐसा कीचड़ वीचड़ हो जाती है रोड में, it was like some UP Bihar kind of road was there, so पूरा कीचड़ था उधर. And this guy, after drinking so much, he was actually fallen on the ground, and he was वो नाले में गिर गया था, कीचड़ के नाले में. तो कीचड़ क्या है, उसको ऐसा नरम नरम गद्दा जैसा लग रहा था. He was looking at the कीचड़ slush as soft bed, very nice soft bed. तो दारू पी के उधर गिरा हुआ था वो आधा, he was half unconscious, and he was thinking that he has got a very nice comfortable bed. Today how lucky he is, he has got a very nice comfortable bed. This is illusion. Actually he is suffering, he is in a very miserable condition, he is in a very pitiable condition, but what is he thinking? Oh, I am very comfortable, I am very happy. This is illusion. Illusion means that which is not. Maya means that which is not. That is Maya. So Maya makes us feel comfortable in this body, but the reality is actually it is an uncomfortable situation for us. And the conditions which we are going to talk about make us realize that, if we have the power, if we have the vision to see that, right? For example, we see one example of condition is this, that we as human body, we are comfortable on land, but fish and duck, in their body, they are comfortable on water. अगर आप fish और duck को पानी में से निकाल के बाहर कर दोगे, they are not comfortable on that. Similarly, birds are comfortable on sky. We are not comfortable on aeroplanes. That is why you see, when you are driving on road, no air hostess comes to you to give you so much advice. Abhi seat belt lagao, ye karo, wo karo. Because road is anyway comfortable for us. It is land. But when you are on a ship in ocean, or when you are in air in aeroplane, you will see that so many security measures are taken. So many preventive measures are taken. Right? Why? Because it is not our natural place. Right? It is an uncomfortable place for us. Right? So similarly, like land, right? Land is a very comfortable situation. So that is one example of the condition which is imposed on this body. Another example, you see, when it is extreme hot, when there is, it's like sun is scorching, we get uncomfortable, and then we are very, very hungry for AC or fan or cooler, right? And similarly, when it becomes very cold, we again become uncomfortable. Then we are, we are looking for some kind of a heater or some kind of fire, to keep our body warm. Right? So again, this is another condition which is imposed on our body, that neither we like too hot nor we like too cold. We need to be comfortable as far as this body is concerned, so that there is right temperature maintained. Another example of conditions, right, which are imposed on us due to this body is, we are not free to do whatever we want. Let's say your favorite dish is gulab jamun, or pizza or pasta or whatever, Maggi or dosa, whatever, some favorite dish is there. Now, there is a limit to how much you can enjoy and how long you can enjoy. Please note two things: how much and how long. कितना गुलाब जामुन खाएंगे आप? 4, 5, 10, 15, 20? 20 से ज्यादा नहीं खा पाएंगे ना, right? और अगर 20 खा लिया, then you will see what is the problem, what is the consequence, right? So we are not free to do whatever we want. Our body imposes certain restrictions on us. Here is another example. Just like, let's say you are driving your, two-wheeler or four-wheeler on road, right? And now, अभी आपका क्या, आप तो अपने मर्जी के मालिक हैं, अभी रोड बोलता है, अरे रोड क्या, मैं तो फुटपाथ पे चलाऊंगा, मैं तो पार्क में चलाऊंगा, मैं तो जहां मन वहां चलाऊंगा. रेड लाइट, अरे रेड लाइट तो मेरे पिताजी ने नहीं कभी देखा, मैं क्या देखूंगा. Like that, if you drive your vehicle, what will happen? In the next signal, police will be waiting for you. In fact, these days, so there is e-challan. आपके पास SMS आ जाएगा, आप फाइन पे करो, नहीं तो कोर्ट में जाओ, right? So we are not free to do whatever we want. Just like the government imposes certain restrictions on us, similarly, the material nature imposes certain restrictions on us, right? On the other hand, animals, sometimes such restrictions are not imposed on them. They are free to do whatever they want, right? That is the nature of animal species. But we as humans, we have been given more power. We have been given more privileges. And the moment more power is given, the moment more privilege is given, more responsibility is also given. We are accountable for whatever we do, right? So we can't just eat anything and everything, right? There is a limit to it. We can't sleep whole day, right? That's not what human life is meant for. Even I mean, animals also, they do according to whatever they have been meant for. You will not see a dog, sleeping more than his quota, because they anyway not naturally follow the laws of nature. It's the humans who can actually break the laws of nature. And if humans break the laws of nature, we are going to suffer the consequences of those actions, right? So we can't sleep all day. Again, this all about this illicit sex and all these kind of things will again is going to lead to so many diseases, which we will have. So we are not free to do whatever we want. That's another example of conditions which is imposed on us by this body. Now, if I don't know if you have attended that session about real problems of life, right? So if you know that the moment you talk about an uncomfortable situation, right? What is disease? What is the meaning of the word disease? Disease means dis-ease. That means you are not at ease. You're not comfortable. You are uncomfortable. That is disease, right? So if you think of some uncomfortable situation, right? You can give many examples. Like, if water is not coming in my society, it's an uncomfortable situation, right? But it's my problem. It may not be the problem of the neighborhood society. Or, my children, they have taken admission to a new school, and they have not yet received books of new school. Now, again, it is an uncomfortable situation, but I would not say it's a universal problem, because, my children may have this problem. Some other children may not be having this problem, right? So these are some chota mota problems, right? However, imagine if there are certain things which are universal, and it's discomfort, it's uncomfortable, and it's universal, right? So those are the conditions which are, much more serious, right? So common to all, nobody wants and nobody can avoid, right? Imagine if there is some uncomfortable situation which is common to all, nobody wants and nobody can avoid, then can you just imagine how high priority that problematic condition would be, right? So these are some examples of such problematic conditions: birth, disease, old age, death, right? So we all know that how at the time of birth the child, for 9 months he is inside the womb of a mother, and it is very very difficult situation. The worms are biting, and the child is not able to move. He is cramped in a very very small place with hands and legs like this. And then if the mother eats something sour, if the mother eats something chilly, then the child actually feels a lot of pain. Child is being tormented by these bugs and worms, and he is crying but he can't do anything. It's a very very miserable situation. It is said that child at that time prays to Krishna that, oh my dear Krishna, I made a mistake once more. Please give me, please, take me out of this hellish situation. This time I promise you that I will, become your devotee, and I will, get out of this cycle of birth and death. But as soon as we take birth, we have our chacha, we have our mamaji, we have our mosi, we have our chachi, and we have all kinds of relatives and family members, who come to us with different gifts and balloons and nice colored toys and saying happy birthday to us. And we forget again, whatever misery we went through, right? That is again Maya. We are suffering again and again, but Maya makes us forget that suffering. That's Maya. Why it happens? So that it is like a test to us. Only those who are really serious can get out of the jail. It's not so easy to get out of the jail. You can actually get out of any government's jail, but you cannot get out of Krishna's jail so easily unless we are thoroughly purified, unless we are ready to become law-abiding citizens of the government. If we are ready to become law-abiding citizens of the spiritual world, then we can get out of this jail, right? So that's why these miseries have been put in. Again, similarly, disease. Nobody likes to have disease, from top to bottom. Old age, there's history is full of stories of millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires who in old age, when they see gray hair, they throw money, millions and crores and millions of rupees to doctors, saying that, please do whatever you want, but stop my aging, stop me becoming old. I don't want to become old, I don't want to die. Take this money and stop it. Doctors very happily take all the money, they enjoy, and they say that, sorry sir, we can't help you. Or at best they say that now we have understood the process of aging. Understanding the process of aging is one thing, and to stop aging is another thing. We cannot stop aging because that's the nature of this world, right? Similarly, death, we all know nobody wants it. Once I was giving a lecture in one of the IIT colleges, and this boy tells me that I said that actually nobody wants to die, and this person, he argued with me. He was saying, no sir, if death means old age, if death means disease, then we would actually rather want to die. I said, you are cheating yourself, because if you call an old person here, and if you try to shoot him, he will not say thank you very much, you are killing me, I was just waiting for somebody to kill me, इतनी देर क्यों लगा दी बेटा तुमने मेरे को गोली मारने में. You will not say like that. Everybody wants to protect his life. No matter how diseased you may be, no matter how old you may be, we actually don't want to die. That's our default condition. If there is an ant on the table, if the ant is going like this on the table, if you put your finger in front of the ant will somehow try to save its life, right? If somebody throws me from the top of this building, I'll somehow try to grab something or the other to save my life, right? So that's our natural condition. But right now we are in an unnatural condition. We are in a difficult, uncomfortable, unnatural condition. And to add to this, there are these miseries, like Adi Bhautik miseries, Adhyatmic miseries, and Adi Devik miseries, right? What are Adi Bhautik miseries? Now, what is misery? I think we have discussed this once. Misery means to get what you don't want and to not get what you want, right? So I repeat, what is misery? Misery means to get what you don't want. For example, I want to come first in my class. To get what you don't want, right? So I don't want sweat. I don't want to sweat, but I have to sweat, right? I don't want I don't want maybe whatever. I don't want mosquitoes to bite me, but they will bite me, right? So you get what you don't want, and you don't get what you want. I want to become the richest person in the world. You may not get it just like that. Or I want to become very very handsome. I may not become very handsome. So you don't get what you want and you get what you don't want. That's the definition of misery. And there are three kinds of miseries which have been made in this world. One is Adi Bhautik misery. Adi Bhautik misery means because of other living entities. Like for example, terrorists may come and kill me, or mosquitoes, or whatever. The living entity can be small or big, but misery is due to other living entities. Or my neighbor may be troubling me. अब बार बार डस्टबिन निकालते हैं, वो बार बार मेरे घर के सामने डस्टबिन रख देता है, right? Or neighbor may be troubling me. Adhyatmic misery means misery is due to our own mind and body. That is adhyatmic misery. Our own mind means like, depression, stress, and all those things, and body, again, we know disease, right? Heart disease, diabetes, putna joint problem, kidney problem, liver problem, all that, right? So all that is adhyatmic misery. And Adidevic misery means what? Misery is due to the natural calamities, flood, famine, earthquake, and all these kind of things, right? They are natural calamities, Adidevic miseries. So in this world, these things have been put wholesale, right? Again, please remember that example of jail, example of hospital, example of pain. What does all this point to? All this points to something wrong somewhere. And that is what Krishna wants us to be reminded of again and again. So everybody has specific disease pertaining to his body, despite our not wanting. We discussed this aspect of disease, like cough, vata, pitta. Those who have cough problem, they have sinus and, a lot of headache and cough and all that. Those who have vat problem, they have pains in the bones, according to Ayurveda. Those who have pitta problem, they have always digestion related issues, right? And life becomes miserable, uncomfortable. Sometimes I've seen those people who suffer a lot from constipation. They become a very chirchida kind of person. You have seen them, they just like the way I'm doing right now. It's like that. Even digestion is not good, right? Because if you want to be really, really fit and fine and healthy and happy, if you want to be a very charming personality, if you want to be a happy personality, your stomach has to be very good, right? So again, what we are discussing so many conditions which are imposed on us, unfavorable conditions, uncomfortable situations which are imposed on us due to this body, right? And as I said, that any injury somewhere here and there, we may be about to get on to our dream journey, we may be about to get on to our dream holiday, dream vacation, but if God forbid, if let's say some thorn pricks our foot, or if we get some injury, then pura maja kirkira ho jata hai. The whole trip gets spoiled, right? That's the nature of one problem, right? The if you weigh problems with happiness, you will see that the problems outweigh happiness, right? So happiness. And we talked about old age as well. Material body is fragile and subjected to old age, damage and accidents, and finally death, right? All these conditions are there. We are not free of these conditions. So naturally, as humans, we have to worry about and we have to inquire, oh, how can we go beyond these displeasing conditions imposed on our body? Because something is wrong. And as I said, sometimes we take this for granted. Sometimes we compromise. Sometimes we compromise that, okay, perhaps it is how, this is how it is. Why to bother? This is how it is. This is an ostrich mentality. You know what is an ostrich mentality? Ostrich mentality means that, when you see some danger in front of you, you put you close your eyes, something like that, right? When you see some danger, close your eyes. Is that good? Is that scientific? Is that intelligent? Is that wonderful? Not at all, right? So to think that, why to discuss all this? This is anyway common. You only said it is common to all. So why you are discussing? It's like, 2 into 3 plus 4 into 3. So 3 ko bahar common le liya. Now you worry about 2 plus 4. Why are you worrying about 3? Because anyway it is common. You have taken it out. No, it's not like that. Shastras tell us, how did you conclude that you can't do anything about it? Did you read Shastras? Did you go to Guru? Did you approach Guru, Sadhu, Shastra to understand? What if this is like that pain which I am saying, that pain is a symptom, pain is an indicator that something is wrong, please do something about it, right? It can also be taken that way. So therefore, any sensible person, any sensible human being who has not been corrupted by this demoniac materialistic education, which makes you think otherwise, which makes you think that, ye sab to hota rahega, chodo, let's worry about, something else in life, let's enjoy, let's forget all this, just like an ostrich, that's foolish. That's not scientific at all, right? So, but any scientific person, really genuine scientists like Einsteins and Newtons and people like that, right? Any genuine scientist, or any, like Lord Kelvin, what did Lord Kelvin say? If you think strongly enough, you'll be forced by science to believe in God, correct? That's science, that's scientific. So any genuine scientist or any common sense human being, any human being, a genuine human being, will think that something is wrong here. I mean, yeah, this is not done. I mean, this is like a joke or what, then why am I struggling so much? Why am I working hard so much? For what? So he asks, how can I go beyond these displeasing conditions imposed on our body, right? And then we see one very important characteristic. We see that what is the nature of spirit soul? So we are tiny spirit soul and God is infinite spirit soul. We are tiny, we are infinitesimal, and God is infinite, right? We are infinitesimal, God is infinite. So we see, like, for example, you see in Mahabharata, this story comes, Krishna and Balram, they go and they kill, they attack the demon called Jarasandha. Jarasandha नाम का एक बहुत बड़ा राजा था पहले. and he was a very, very bad demoniac king. He was an evil personality, and many demons were on his side, right? So Lord Krishna and Balram, once what happened is they defeated Jarasandha 17 times. And every time they would, not kill Jarasandha, they would leave him. Why? Because every time, next time, Jarasandha would come with more demons, and Krishna and Balram would kill all the demons, and they would leave Jarasandha to go back and come next time with more demons, so that Krishna and Balram kill more demons, so that he goes back again and brings more demons, and like that. So like that, Krishna and Balram did 17 times. And one time, what they did was, instead of defeating Jarasandha, they chose to run away from the battle. That's why, if you know, Lord Krishna is celebrated as Ran Chor. Ran Chor matlab jo ran mein chhod ke bhag gaye. Krishna is not worried about his position. He is not having any kind of insecurity like you and me, because our situation is temporary, therefore we are insecure. Right? If I am permanently CEO of a company, what will make me insecure? So God is not occupying a position. God is not a position. Krishna is not temporarily God. Krishna, he is not worried that, oh, I am right now God. What if tomorrow I am not God? He is not in that tension because he is God. That's it. It's not a post. He is God. Right? So he is not worried about his reputation. So then, therefore, for the sake of reciprocating love with his devotees, like in this case, it is said that Rukmini had written a letter to Krishna, and therefore Krishna had run to attend to Rukmini because Rukmini was in danger. So anyway, so to enact various pastimes, to do various leelas, and to reciprocate with the love of his devotees, Krishna many times does so many things, right? So similarly, in that connection, this one thing he does, that Krishna and Balram, they leave the battlefield, they run away from Jarasandha, and Jarasandha, he thinks that, hey, see, they are running out of my fear, and Jarasandha chases them, and they enter a forest. Jarasandha also enters the forest, and then Krishna and Balram, they climb a mountain, which is like 90 miles high mountain they climb. And Jarasandha, in the dark, somewhere they disappear, Krishna and Balram. Jarasandha is not able to find them, but Jarasandha understood that Krishna and Balram have climbed this mountain. So Jarasandha orders all his soldiers, to lit fire all around the mountain, so that this fire will engulf Krishna and Balram and they will get burnt. Right? But the very next sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam says that, Jarasandha and his soldiers did this, but then Krishna and Balram jumped off the mountain, 90 miles high mountain, they jumped off, and then they went back towards Dwarka. Like that, right? So now if you and me in this body, if we jump off a building 90 miles high, if we are lucky, all our bones will be fractured. If we are unlucky, we will die, right? That did not happen to Krishna and Balram, right? Why? Because their body is not material. They are having spiritual body, right? So why am I saying this is because, first of all, to appreciate that these conditions are imposed by material body. When we have a spiritual body, we become liberated of these conditions. Have you heard of this word called mukti? Mukti is a very famous term in India. हमको सब लोग बोलते हैं भाई मनुष्य जन्म का लक्ष्य क्या है? मनुष्य जन्म का लक्ष्य है मुक्ति की प्राप्ति करना. Now mukti ki prapti or liberation or moksha, we have to understand this very, very properly. What does this moksha mean? What does this mukti means? Mukti means freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from bondage, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, freedom from these conditions, wherein we are limited and restricted in what we can do, right? So first of all, we have to understand that spirit is free. Spirit is free, which is like, personified by Lord Krishna and Balram themselves in this case, right? Because Lord's body is pure spirit, it never deteriorates, and therefore he is called Avyayatma. His body is absolute, beginningless, unborn, and eternal. Our material body is temporary and it undergoes birth and death. As pure spirit souls, we are also eternal. We have also a spiritual body, but in this world we cannot live in spiritual body. On top of our spiritual body, we have taken this material body. Just like every morning after taking bath, I hope all of you take bath every morning. So every morning after taking bath, we wear banyan, vest, and then on top of it we wear a shirt, right? Similarly, as souls, as spiritual body cannot be in this world just like that, because this world is of matter. So it needs a material covering to be able to live in this world. So there is one subtle material covering, subtle body, made up of our mind, intelligence, and false ego. That's like our banyan, that's like our vest. And on top of it, we wear one more shirt. That's like a gross body: earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? These 5 elements, Panch Mahabhut, right? So that's the body, material body. So our material body is therefore temporary, but our spiritual body is eternal. And once we get our spiritual body back in spiritual world, then we will be liberated from all these impositions and conditions and restrictions, right? And that is why, if you see pure devotees, because their body is not material again, pure devotees, because they have completely revived their Krishna consciousness. If you remember in the previous session, we were telling that how love for Krishna is not to be acquired from outside. It is not to be created. It is not to be established. It is to be revived because it is already there within us. Love for Krishna is already there within us. We have to revive it. So pure devotees are those personalities. They are those living entities who have completely 100% revived their love for Krishna, right? And because of doing that, now they are completely spiritual. And even pure devotees, not to speak of Krishna, even pure devotees, they become aloof from the material conditions. Like, for example, Narad Muni. I'm sure you know that Narad Muni is called as a transcendental astronaut. Without requiring any spaceship, without requiring any oxygen mask, without requiring anything, Narad Muni can travel all over space, anywhere in the entire creation, because he has spiritual body. Once there is an example of how Narad Muni once came in front of Ravan, and Ravan was very impressed by this thing of Narad Muni, that how Narad Muni can travel all over the universe without any problem. By the way, if you know, even governments do that sometimes. Like, for example, Mother Teresa had a permission to travel all over the world wherever she wants without any problem, right? Why? Because she was doing something for the governments and all governments were happy. Similarly, if we become pure devotees of Krishna, the entire creation, whether it be material world or spiritual world, entire creation, the prime minister is Krishna, right? And if we have become pure devotees of Krishna, Krishna will give us the visa by which we can travel all over the world without any problem, right? So once when Ravana saw that Narad Muni has this special ability of traveling all over the world, then Ravana became very envious of this ability. And Ravana said, you give this ability to me, otherwise I'll kill you. Narad Muni said, try killing me. So Ravana took out his sword, and with his sword he cut off Narad Muni. But you know what happened? The sword went through his body and nothing happened to Narad Muni, because Narad Muni's body is not material. Narad Muni's body is spiritual, right? And then Ravana became more frustrated. So this brings us to a very, very interesting point, that how Lord's energies, there are three kinds of energies of the Supreme Lord: superior spiritual energy, inferior material energy, and something in between. Tatastha. Tatastha means marginal, something in between, right? Just to give you an analogy, if you have gone to a beach, right? In UP, I don't know if there is any beach, but if you have gone to a beach, an ocean beach, beach वैसे किनारे में होता है पर उसको beach बोलते हैं, English में. But anyway, so you have an ocean on one side and you have land on one side, correct? Ocean on one side, land on one side. But that beach portion, some portion there is little land, little water. I mean, kabhi kabhi land, kabhi kabhi water, kabhi khushi, kabhi gum, like that kind of place, right? So similarly, Lord says in Bhagavad Gita that there is spiritual energy. For example, Lord Krishna, or his incarnations or pure devotees, they are completely spiritual. This mouse, laptop, or a robot, that's completely material. Who are we? We are internally spiritual because we are soul. Actually, we are spiritual. Soul is spiritual, but we have a material covering. So हम अंदर से spiritual है, बाहर से material है. भगवान अंदर से भी spiritual है, बाहर से भी spiritual है. और robot अंदर से भी material है, बाहर से भी material है. I hope this is clear to all, right? So these are the three kinds of living entities we find around us. But then the more we are engrossed in matter, the more we are subject to the limitations and conditions and constraints of matter. The more we are liberated from matter, the more we are free from those conditions. That's the whole point. Now, how do we become free from matter? That is the subject matter of real human civilization. Human civilization does not mean that I can wear Levi's ka jeans or क्या होता है वो फटा हुआ jeans or whatever, or real civilization does not mean I can wear Peter England shirt or Chirag Din, whatever those kind of shirts, or I can go to Mars. That's not what is the real civilization. Real civilization means these three things: Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, and Mrityurma Amritgamaya. That's what real civilization means. That means, which is the actual purpose of human life, that such life, अरे जानवर जैसा लाइफ तो कोई भी जी सकता है, किसी को भी मार के कोई भी खा सकता है, जिसको जो मन वो कर सकता है, लेकिन आप ऐसा लाइफ लीड करके दिखाइए. When will you be called glorious? When you will be called a real hero? When will you be called somebody great? When you can live such a life by which you can go from asat to sat. Asat means what? Asat means temporary. Sat means eternal. Tamas to jyoti. Tamas means andhakar. Jyoti means light. Material world to spiritual world. And mrityurma amritgamaya. Mortal world to immortal world. ऐसा लाइफ लीड करके दिखाइए जिससे ये कर पाए, तब तो हम आपको महान समझेंगे, तब तो समझेंगे आपका लाइफ का कोई वैल्यू था. नहीं तो लाइफ का कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं था. यू हैव लिव्ड अ मीनिंगलेस लाइफ, right? That earlier this was the civilization. each and every person would know how to do this, either consciously or unconsciously. That is the role of culture, right? How to go from asat to sat, how to go from tamas to jyoti, and how to go from mrityu to amrit. That is the Vedic culture. That is the purpose of human civilization. Unfortunately, today's culture is so degraded that first of all, even adults don't know these things. And what to speak of children. But once I asked one child, beta, do you know what is the meaning of tamsoma jyotirgamaya? And he told me, sir, it means tum so jao ma, main jyoti ke ghar ja raha hu. So that is the sorry state of affairs. If you ask a child, not child because abhi to Govinda acting nahi karta hai, lekin some 20 years back or 30 years back when Govinda, there is a film star by the name of Govinda. तो अगर उस समय आप किसी से पूछते अरे गोविंदा को जानते हो क्या, तो वो नहीं बोलेगा हाँ हमारे श्री कृष्ण का नाम गोविंदा है, वो बोलेगा अरे वो जो फिल्म स्टार है उसका नाम गोविंदा है. That's unfortunate condition of today's society, right? In the lack of knowledge. But the reality is that nobody wants to be bound, everyone wants to be liberated, is it not? The moment I tell you that, see, in this world there are so many conditions which we are in, so many constraints and restrictions, limitations which are imposed on us, and if I tell you that by the way there is a way out, there is one more state of existence. See, when we do not know about any other state of existence, we can take, we can think that अरे अब हमारा यही भाग्य है, इसी में रहना है. लेकिन when you come to know that यहाँ तो हम बेकार में हम ये तो हम बेवकूफ थे, हम यहाँ रह रहे थे. Actually there is another state of existence which is actually free, which is liberated. Then who will not want to go there? Tell me, right? Who will not want to go there? Only a fool or only somebody who is cheating himself would not want to go there. The moment you come to know that there is a state of existence wherein you can be free, wherein you can be unlimitedly happy, wherein you can enjoy completely and uninterruptedly, would you not want to go to that state of existence? And that state of existence is Krishna consciousness. And that is where the role of human life becomes very, very crucial. I'll try to end with these 2 slides and we'll continue this in the next session. But I want to end with this one important point, that how every day we see that how human life is so important. In fact, you take this current corona crisis, right? New COVID-19. Cinemas have been closed down. Malls have been closed down. Everything has been closed down. Even those things which we considered so important, even those things have been closed down. Why? To protect human life. Is it not? That means human life is considered higher than everything else, right? And same thing I'm trying to show in this slide as well. Let's say 120 lakhs car collides with another 50 lakhs car, and they collide and something like this happens, right? So what is the total loss? 70 lakhs, is it not? What will the news say? Will the news say that आज एक गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट हुआ, 20 लाख का गाड़ी और 50 लाख का गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट हुआ, 70 लाख का नुकसान हुआ? Will any news channel say that? Not even a single channel. I write it on a piece of paper and give you that. Not even a single channel will show that. What will channel show? Channel will show that, oh, thankfully nobody got injured, or one person injured, one died, something like that. With respect to human life, what does this go to show? That human life is very, very important, right? But what it is important for? To kill animals and eat, and to therefore accumulate more sins, or to take a revolver and shoot everybody? Is that why human life is important? Human life is not important for that. Human life is important to understand what we just discussed, to be able to go to that state of existence which is free from these conditions. You may be wondering, what is this image, right? This image is of a bungalow which has 84 lakh gates. Every gate is leading to some fire, but there is one gate. So this whole bungalow is on fire. Whole bungalow is on fire. आग लगी है पूरा चारों तरफ से, और 84 लाख गेट हैं. हाँ, लेकिन हर गेट फॉल्स है, मतलब वो बाहर नहीं ले जाएगा आपको, नकली गेट है. लेकिन एक गेट है इस पूरे बंगलों में. There is one gate which can actually take you out, and that is the only gate by which you can escape this whole burning bungalow. Human life is like that. Out of 84 lakh species, human life is one species where we can actually perfect our life, we can become Krishna conscious, and we can get out of this burning material world. And it is very, very rare. Please don't take it cheaply. Don't think that अरे यार अभी नहीं हुआ, कोई बात नहीं, ऐसी भी क्या जल्दी, कल करे सो आज नहीं, वो क्या है, what is that? आज करे सो कल कर, कल करे सो परसों, ऐसी भी क्या जल्दी यारों, जब जीना है बरसों. It's not like that. First of all, you cannot जियो बरसों. You don't know, you may die tomorrow also. And secondly, this human life, once we lose this human life, next time when we get this human life, we don't know. Shastras tell that the probability to get a human form of life is equal to the probability that a turtle floating in Pacific Ocean, when a turtle, he swims inside the ocean, right? When a turtle swimming inside the Pacific Ocean, when he is breathing in and breathing out, bubbles are coming out of his nostrils. Bubbles are coming out of his nostrils. And there is a log of wood which is floating somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, and this log of wood has a vertical hole. The probability that the bubbles rising from the turtle's mouth, who is floating somewhere in Pacific Ocean, comes up and enters the hole of the log of wood and goes out of that hole, wherein that log of wood is floating somewhere else in the Pacific Ocean. That is the probability of getting human form of life. I will say, sir, कुछ भी हो थे या लपेटो लपेटो. It's not like that. Common sense लगाइएगा, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. एक सुई के टिप पर, the top of the head of a pin, 50, some 10 million viruses can be there. Huh? So many viruses can be there. So many blade of grass is there outside. So many bacteria are there. So many ant cockroaches are there. So many entities are there, visible and invisible. उनके सामने अपने अपने घर में ये पूरा बिल्डिंग में ना कॉकरोच है. बिल्डिंग तो छोड़िए, ये फ्लैट में जमीन के अंदर कितना कॉकरोच होगा, उसका पॉपुलेशन ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशन से ज्यादा होगा. राइट नाउ इमेजिन हाउ मच विल बी देयर इन दिस बिल्डिंग, एंड आई एम टॉकिंग ओनली अबाउट कॉकरोच. You add other living entities, how much will be there in this whole society? Then in whole this Mira Bhayandar Thane area, then this whole Bombay, Maharashtra, then India, then you know, Asia, then this world. You know, so now do you understand how human life is very rare? You know, each and every blade of grass, each and every plant, each and every tree, each and every cockroach, each and every lizard, each and every bacteria, each and every virus, each and every living entity is a soul. And out of that, how many human beings are there? Some 5, 6, 7, 8, that much, right? So that is why human life is really, really rare. Very, 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 very rare. It's very, very precious. And that is why in human form of life, we are supposed to be intelligent. Sanatan Goswami, one of the very, very important acharyas, he told when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who came in this planet just 500 years back to spread this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who actually gave this Hare Krishna Mahamantra to each one of us. And Sanatan Goswami, as soon as he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by the way, Sanatan Goswami was not some chota mota person. He was like the home minister of the state at that time. So Sanatan Goswami, as soon as he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, "My dear Lord, please tell me who am I? Please tell me why are people suffering? Why is there suffering in this world?" That is the purpose of human life. In human form of life, we can rise above the conditions by spiritual inquiry. Because human form of life is that like that strong boat which can take us cross over this ocean of material existence. Right? It's an ocean cannot be crossed by our own swimming power. We cannot cross an ocean by our own swimming power. We need a facility to be able to cross the ocean. Similarly, this human form of life is a facility which has been given to us by Krishna, by which we can cross over this ocean of material existence. Human beings have higher intelligence to find out the cause of suffering, to inquire the purpose of life, to harmonize our life with God and nature, to attain eternal happiness. And if we use human life properly, we'll be promoted to higher life. If we don't use human life properly, we'll be demoted to lower forms of life. So I think since it is already 4:35, we will end here and we'll continue this session in the next class. So let me very quickly do a recap of what we just did. Okay. So we talked about how, we have seen how Krishna consciousness is so important, how we should worship Krishna, how we should love and serve Krishna, but many times we still don't have the enough determination to be able to practice Krishna consciousness nicely every day. We don't have the determination to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. And then I said that, let us make some observations, right? That we want unlimited enjoyment, but the reality of this world is there are so many problems which actually come as an interruption to our enjoyment, and those problems are like the pain, which is actually in one sense good, which reminds us of our fundamental problem, which is what Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita. Then we see that how this world is like a hotel or a hospital. This world is like a hospital or a jail, wherein we are supposed to reform ourselves, we are supposed to get cured of our disease. And then we started looking into the first C, which was conditions. That when we see that our body imposes so many restrictions on us, so many conditions on us, which we just went over, we realize that, oh, something is wrong, and we don't want to be subject to these limits. We don't want to be subject to conditions. We want to be free, right? And so we talked about all these in that connection. Then we saw, oh, how can we be free? We can be free only when we actually revive our original spiritual nature, right? So that we saw that how God, because he is completely spiritual, is beyond conditions. Pure devotees, because they're completely spiritual, they are beyond conditions. Similarly, people like us, when we become completely spiritual, we will be also beyond conditions. And that is what is called liberation. And that is possible only in human form of life. We should make perfect use of human form of life, and we should rise above our conditions so that we can actually become liberated, right? And then next class onwards, we'll see certain more details about this, and then we'll talk about the next second C, which is conditioning, and then third C, which is competition. But in the next class, we should be able to finish both the C's. Right? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Let us open the forum for questions now.
मेरी क्लास चल रही है, मुझसे 10-5 मिनट की और है.